Did you or your team need time off for coronavirus quarantine or remote school in 2020 or 2021? The FFCRA helps most businesses, even those with only one owner or employees, to get compensation for time off because of COVID, quarantine, and/or taking care of children out of school. The information contained here has been prepared by Civitas Strategies and is not intended to constitute legal, tax, or financial advice. The Civitas Strategies team has used reasonable efforts in collecting, preparing, and providing this information, but does not guarantee its accuracy, completeness, adequacy, or currency. The publication and distribution of this information are not intended to create, and receipt does not constitute, an attorney-client, or any other advisory relationship. Reproduction of this information is expressly prohibited. Only non-commercial uses of this work are permitted. In today's conversation, we will discuss the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, or FFCRA. Did you have staff who needed time off in 2020 or 2021 for coronavirus-19 illness, quarantining because of a potential or direct COVID exposure, taking care of a family member with COVID, or taking care of your children because their child care provider or school was closed or limited to remote education? If you answered yes to any of these questions, even if they were in the past, you may be able to qualify for federal funds. When the pandemic struck, many small businesses could not afford to provide the additional sick leave that would be needed due to COVID-19 related illness or quarantine. Additionally, many schools closed in reaction to the pandemic, forcing countless parents to stay home with their children and support them with remote schooling. In many cases, these small businesses lacked the reserve funds needed to pay employees whose children were now at home, leaving them unable to return to work, but with no income. As such, the federal government created the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, FFCRA, leave which provides funds in the form of payroll tax credits to help alleviate the economic impact of needing to provide this leave. Businesses have through 2024 to amend their past taxes to apply for this credit. The FFCRA covers leave taken between April 1, 2020 and September 30, 2021. If you have fewer than 500 employees, you can take advantage of the FFCRA. Even if you are a sole proprietor or self-employed and it is just you, you can take advantage of the program. Pro tip number 1. If you have a PPP, you cannot double count the money. Make sure that the salary you are counting for the FFCRA is not the same as the PPP. For example, if you are claiming PPP forgiveness for all your salary in May 2020, you cannot also claim an FFCRA. Pro tip number 2. If you have 500 or more employees, you're not eligible to claim the credit for qualified paid, sick and family leave wages. There are two types of leave available. Emergency Paid Sick Leave Act. First, the Emergency Paid Sick Leave Act provides up to 80 hours of sick leave for employees, at their regular rate of pay, up to $511 per day, with a cap of $5,110 for the whole 80 hours, if the employee is quarantined for potential COVID-19 exposure or has COVID-19 symptoms. At 2/3 their regular rate of pay, up to $200 per day, with a cap of $2,000, if the employee is caring for someone under quarantine or a child under 18, whose school or child care provider is closed or unavailable for reasons related to COVID-19. A school closure includes remote learning situations where the child is at home. Emergency Family and Medical Leave Expansion Act. Second, the Emergency Family and Medical Leave Expansion Act provides up to 12 weeks of expanded family and medical leave, with 10 of those weeks paid at 2/3 the employee's regular rate of pay, up to $200 per day, with a cap of $2,000, if the employee is unable to work, including telework, to care for a child whose school or child care provider is closed due to COVID-19. A school closure includes remote learning situations where the child is at home. You get reimbursed through a refundable tax credit. That's a technical way of saying the United States Treasury pays you using money from employment taxes. Think of this term as simply a reimbursement for the applicable wages. Reimbursement is handled differently if the employee taking the leave is a W-2 employee or a sole proprietor, self-employed individual. For W-2 employees, you can get reimbursement for W-2 employees by revising past Form 941 submittals using an amendment. For sole proprietors and the self-employed, it is important to know you can claim the credit for 2020 or 2021, even if you already submitted your taxes. You will need to ask your tax preparer to file a Form 1040X and use Form 7202, credits for sick leave and family leave for certain self-employed individuals. To help you with this process, we have created a supplemental worksheet which provides a way to share the data and how to use the credit with your tax preparer. You can find this worksheet in the guide that accompanies this video. You can also do this through the amendment process of most tax software programs. One last thing you need to know is employers may exclude healthcare providers or emergency responders from EPSLA and EFMLEA leave, and businesses with less than 50 employees can qualify for an exemption if the leave would jeopardize the viability of the business. For more information, visit the DCL Thriving Childcare Business Academy website. If you have questions about the Academy, send them to the email address on the screen. And be sure to visit the Civitas Strategies YouTube channel for more valuable resources to support you and your business.